I'm delighted to be joined by actor Roger Davies, whose name may ring a bell for a number of reasons, some of which we're going to be talking about today. Of course, I remember him as Vinnie Rodriguez in the Nickelodeon series Renford Rejects, a subject which we've covered quite a lot on the podcast. We interviewed Bill Homewood and Tom Weller some time ago, and I'd be very much looking forward to hearing some stories about his time on the show. But first, Roger, you're not just an actor. I heard you're also a dancer. What was it like dancing on Top of the Pops back in the day?
Wow. Do you know what? So it was funny because for me, it was like, that was like my part-time. So I loved acting, but if I wasn't working for a while, then I would dance. And so, yes, I remember going on tour with Mel B for a while, which was a lot of fun. And then it's funny because now like Top of the Pops and those shows don't exist anymore. So I wonder like what artists perform on now. Is it more like chat shows now, I guess?
I think it is chat shows, yeah, and the like. Yeah. That exist. In Britain, we're just starting to see the early 90s, about the time that you would have been on them. Because they repeat them.
That's right. Because there was like Top of the Pops, there was the Pepsi chart show. What are some other ones? Oh, the other ones were like chat shows, like Live and Kicking and other things. But that was a good time. I was actually talking to one of my friends about it the other day, and we were reminiscing about the days that we did Top of the Pops and were on tour dancing. It was definitely a lot of fun.
Well, it sounds like it was an interesting time. Now, as I make reference to, you were Vinnie Rodriguez in the Renford Rejects. How did you get that opportunity?
Oh, that was incredible. I'll never forget that. So I remember my agent at the time was like, "Oh, there's an audition for this Nickelodeon show called Renford Rejects," and I was like, "Huh, okay." So she sent me the information. I remember going to do my first audition, and it was like a big speech. It was like, "Hi, I'm Vinnie Rodriguez," and did it, and I was like talking about some game stuff. So I did that audition, and then I think maybe like a few weeks went by, and then I got like a recall. So I met Stephen Baywell, the director, and I think it was Howard Litz. Howard, his last name began with L, and he was the head of Nickelodeon. And so I went to Nickelodeon for my final audition, and I did it with him and Steven. And I remember I finished doing my my scene, and I went to shake hands, and I remember like knocking over this coffee that went like everywhere, all down the table. I was like, brilliant. I was like, sorry. They're like, hey, it's fine. Don't worry about it. So I was like, oh my goodness. So I left. And then I remember getting the train back to, I'm from Essex. So I got the Central line back to Loughton. And I got home and my mum was like, hey, we've got some good news. And I was like, what? She went, oh, you got the part of Vinnie Rodriguez. I was like, wait, what? Yeah? She was, yeah. I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. It was so bizarre that I must have left. And then they decided, yep, that's the guy. And then called my agent. And then agent called my parents. But that's the days when I didn't have a mobile phone. It was all house phone, so, but yeah, I was so excited. I couldn't wait to start the journey.
And you are, if I may say so, and an integral part of that show. You were kind of the glue that kept it all together.
Yeah. It was, I look back at those days and it was like such a great time because it was the first scripted show for Nickelodeon. So we felt like you felt like you were part of something fresh, something new. And yeah, it was just such a great job.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what's your kind of what are your memories of shooting that show? Because it must have been quite complicated. Because a lot of the time you were holding a camera, and they were using scenes from that camera as well as whatever shots that they were using, crane shots and such. It was quite complicated, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I remember the camera guy, Pierre Bofferty. A French guy, and so he'd be like, we would record on my camera and he'd make sure that I was holding it right and filming properly, and then then they would film with the regular cameras. But yeah, it always got me. No, the frame's not right. The frame's not right, and I'm like, sorry, Pierre, sorry, Pierre. I'm not a cameraman, but okay. But I learned quickly, so yeah, I got it down in the end.
As we heard from Tom and Bill, the way that they shot it was quite unusual to other shows, because a lot of the scenes were just one continuous shot. That must have been quite difficult to learn all those lines and movements and such.
Yeah, because the timing was so important, because like, they'd be playing a game and then like the camera would have to be in a certain place. Then on a certain part of the game, I'd have to start my dialogue and time it perfectly with the camera movement and the game. And yeah, so there was a lot of choreography for sure. But we would rehearse quite a bit, and I just hope I didn't mess up.
Well, I've from watching it, and I'm continually rewatching it, certainly at the moment during the current situation, and the rapport that you have with the rest of the cast members, it just leaps off the screen.
Oh, I mean, it was great. Like a lot of us lived together at the time when we were shooting, because we'd have really early call times, and so there was a house just around the corner from where we shot in Kensal Green, and so we'd stay there. But we all just like liked each other, so like we all like hung out outside of the show. On the weekends we would go out and stuff, and so I think that like reflected on screen.
Yeah, I think so. I think there was definitely that kind of group mentality that I think you needed, because it was a show with some now quite famous actors, including yourself. Really, the start for a lot of you, wasn't it?
Oh, massively. I remember at the time we started, and Paul Paris, that played Bruno, we'd go out everywhere and he'd always get recognized because he was on Grange Hill. So I remember he was like, yeah, he was the man. We were like, oh my God, we want to get recognized as well. But then obviously when the show came out, yeah, but yeah, Paul was, and then Matthew Leach. I know that was afterwards. I'm thinking, but yeah, at that time it was Paul Paris. He was the man.
That show also, as I've said previously to other guests and such, there were a lot of guest stars, and of course your character met quite a lot of them, because a lot of them were very specific to you.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Do you know what? I'm trying to think who my favorite was. I mean, like Jim Rosenthal and all those guys. I was like, oh my good. They just had like, it was like a footballer's dream. Just like with all the guests that they have, you're like, how did you get this person? Like, how did you get these people? And they were all like such lovely people, and just like up for anything, which was fantastic. But I will say, yeah, we were very lucky with the guests that we got.
Well, you had Joseph Marcel playing your father.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I felt like Will Smith at times. I was like, this is great. And, we'd do the scenes and we'd like add lines and like mess around and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. He was such a great guy, such a great sport.
And not only that, but there were quite a lot of footballers as well as actors. I mean, the ones that are mentioned quite often are obviously Zola, Keown. I think Ed Kersey Keller once. I think Peter Shilton made appearances.
We had the 66 World Cup team.
Yeah. I mean,
that was like insane. We also had Chelsea girls. Not that they're famous footballers, but let me tell you something. These girls were incredible. Oh my god! I think we played them for a little bit, and I was like, yeah, they're really good. But we're playing it off like, yeah, we're not going full out, obviously, because you're girls. So like, but no, they were incredible.
Was there ever a point, because your character did get behind the ball, so to speak, sometimes, but was there any point when you just wanted to jump in and play with them?
So the funny thing was that I was actually a footballer. Like when I was at school, my school teacher was a scout for Chelsea, and me and my dad supported Leyton Orient, and I was in the Leyton Orient School of Excellence. So my school teacher was trying to get me kicked out of there so I could join Chelsea. So I was like I've been playing football all my life. So when I got that chance to play in the episode, I was like, oh, amazing. I finally get to play. So I did want to play more, but they were like, no, get behind the camera. I was like, okay.
Quite an ironic thing, that, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. But then having said that, when we had a break from Rejects, I actually did Dream Team. So I got to fulfill all my football needs in that, which was cool.
Was that a different experience?
It was a completely different experience. And it's so funny because there was a competition, I remember, because Channel 4, around the time when we used to have the Big Breakfast show, and they were wanting to put a show in a certain slot, and it was out of Renford Rejects and Dream Team. And at that time, I was doing Dream Team, and they were all pissed off because they were like, "Oh, great, we didn't get that slot. Some show, Renford Rejects, got it." And I was like, "Oh, that's my show." So it was funny, but yeah, completely different experience because it was more of a soap. Dream Team was, so yeah, it's kind of
Yeah, I
different.
remember it being a little bit more intense in that way, and paved the way for lots of other shows of a very similar vein.
Most definitely, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you were in those two football related shows, which was interesting, and like you say, the Rejects was on Channel 4 for a little while. Why do you think it didn't really catch on terrestrial?
I don't. Do you know what? I'm not sure because I don't know if it was only for like a short amount of time. They were going to show either Dream Team or Renford Rejects. Yeah, so I don't really know. I don't really know if it was like people just weren't into it, or it was only like they were only going to show stuff for like a couple of months or something.
I mean, it's certainly got a fan base now, hasn't it?
It's so funny. Like everywhere I go, people are like, "Was you in a show called Renford Rejects?" Like I went to an audition in America, and the casting director was like, "Oh, my husband's a huge fan of yours." I was like, "Really?" Yeah, he loved Renford Rejects. I was like, wow. I guess at the time we didn't know the impact the show would have. I remember one time being in Oxford Circus and Daniel Kaluuya, who's doing great. He's done Get Out and done all these big movies. And I remember I was coming out of this shop and he was like, "Yo, yeah, you was in Renford Rejects. I love that show, man." I was like, "Oh, cool, thanks, man." And I was like, it was so weird. Like, I didn't think that people were like, were into it like that. But a lot of people grew up with the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a time and a place, and I'm so glad that they still repeat it now because you don't realise quite just how many episodes there are.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There's so many. We did. How did we do 3 seasons or 4 seasons?
4.
4 seasons, but yeah, it's definitely a lot. It was that was like our summertime. Like every year, you knew, okay, for the next like 8 weeks, 9 weeks, we're doing Rejects.
You did venture away because there were a lot of kind of home sets, as it were. You did a lot of outside filming in the UK, but you also went abroad a couple of times, didn't you?
Oh my goodness! I remember, we went to Sardinia, and it was beautiful, beautiful. And I remember there was one episode where I had like we're on the beach. I forget the name of the episode, but and Stephen, the director, was like, "Okay, every time you get this," and I had like a big speech, and he was like, "Every time you get it right, I'll add like another extra, like a beautiful girl to stand next to you. Every time you get it right." So I was like, "Okay." So I think I got it 12 times. So I had all these 12 beautiful women around me. It was fantastic. And then there was an episode where we were all on horses. And it's like the end of the episode, I guess we were like riding into the sunset. And Mohammed George, who joined in the last season, he took over from Stuart, and he was on his horse, and his horse went up, and he fell off the back of it, and it was like a movie, like slow motion, and the horse came down, and its feet just missed his head, and we were like, "Oh my goodness!" And I remember the director was like, "All right, cool, cut, let's go again," and we were like, "No, Mo almost died. We're gonna stop for today." We were like freaked out.
That is shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, it was so crazy, so crazy.
I mean, did that sort of thing happen when you were at home
What do you mean?
in the UK?
Um, Mo almost.
I mean, sort of moments where not necessarily someone nearly died,
Right.
but moments where accidents happen because I'm sure they do.
I'm trying to. Oh, there was one time that was really funny. So the guy, Alex Norton, who played Eddie, I remember we were all doing a scene, and then Eddie, and he was like, "Oh, I just can't get it." And Stephen, the director, came in and was like, "It's not hard. Just get your lines." And they had this big argument, and we were like, "Oh my god, what's going on here?" But it was a joke. So they basically punked us. But it was so intense. We were like, "Oh, this is really awkward. Like, what's happening?" But then they were like, "Oh, we're just joking." We're like, "Wow, that's pretty good acting." Even from the director, we were like, "That's great acting." We had no idea it was a joke.
That show had quite a young cast, and then you had obviously Alex Norton and Sally and Bill Homewood. Kind of, what did you learn from them? I'm sure it was quite a lot.
Oh, they were great. Sally was fantastic. She was such a sweetheart. She was so nice and so funny. And Alex Norton always had like stories for days. He always had stories to tell us. But he was just great. Like just the way he embodied that character, and just watching him, I was like, yeah, this guy's a professional. You could tell like why he always doesn't stop working. He's just very on top of it. Very on top of it. Bill was very funny as well. I like Bill because he's such a thespian. Such a thespian. So yeah, I enjoyed Bill, and I loved because his performance to me was quite theatrical, which I really enjoyed because I love like theatre and musicals and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I enjoyed Bill a lot.
Yeah, it was definitely sort of a pantomime type thing, and that double act thing that he had with Tom.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. Tom Anchorman. Tom's was one of my favorites. Me and him, we hung out a lot individually, and Tom actually introduced me to R&B, which is funny because, like I said, I was very much into musicals, and so I was listening to a lot of musical theatre, and then like Tom was listening to R&B, and he's like, "Yeah, man, you got to get into this," and I was like, "No, I'm gonna stick with my show tunes." But then like he and Tom's got a great voice as well. He's got a fantastic voice, so we'd like sing duets together and all that stuff. But Tom Ankerweller, that's his nickname, Anchorman.
Excellent. What is your favourite musical?
Oh, that's do you know what? Blood Brothers. Blood Brothers is one of my favorites. I enjoy other shows as well, but there was just something about Blood Brothers. It was like a small cast, it was a small set, but the story was just so powerful. So yeah, that would always be my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back over your time on the Renford Rejects, is there like one thing that sticks out to you, one kind of memory that you'll always remember?
I can't say like one thing because the whole thing. I mean, for most of us, it was all our first like big job, so it was just like it was magical from the beginning till the end. But I guess like by season 3, we'd all kind of like grown and stuff, and like we're even like more comfortable, so we were throwing in like private jokes and different things into episodes. And I watched some things, and there's some scenes with me and Martin, like some private jokes that we had like thrown into an episode. And there was one time when he did this thing and he pulled my hair, and it's still in it. You can see me like really laughing, but like trying to hide it. I forget what episode. I think it was the go-kart episode. But anyway, yeah, I don't have one specific thing. I think for me, it was all just great.
With it being, like you say, for many of you, kind of the big show that you all did, that it's kind of, I think it just rushes past you, doesn't it?
Most definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you make reference to you doing it in the summer. What were you doing the rest of the year?
It's funny because as well, like, so they would kind of put a hold on you. So like we finished the first season, and then, around January, February, they're like, "Oh, we're doing season 2. So we're going to like put a hold on you from, I don't know, June till December or something or whatever." So I'd try and do other jobs. So I'd be doing like some of my dance stuff, like I'd, dance some artists and all that. And then just go back. Oh, and then there was one time I was doing a movie called Virtual Sexuality. And I remember it was day 1 on set. And then I got a call saying like, yeah, like, you got to get back for Rejects. Like, they're not releasing you to do this. I was like, what? So yeah, so I had to like then leave that same day and go back and do Rejects.
Did you feel put out by that at the time, or were you okay with it?
I think at the time I was like, because it was a movie, so I was like, this is my first like movie. Yeah, so I was put out. Yeah, I was like, but I love Renford Rejects, so I was like, it's fine.
After Rejects, looking down your list of credits, you went on to do Family Affairs, which, as some people will remember, is a Channel 5 soap opera that lasted for a while.
That's right. And it's funny because, I arrived there, and then like Martin was like, "You following me?" Because Martin Delaney, Jason Summerby was on it. So yeah, that was fun. That was fun, like reconnecting with Martin, but in a show that's a bit more serious and a bit more. And we were actually in the show, our characters became like really good friends as well, and would do stuff together. So that was quite fun.
Do you think that was conscious?
I don't know. But I definitely appreciated it. I was like, this is fantastic. Jason and Vinnie back together. I think we may have thrown in some Renford Rejects stuff in there as well. in a scene. I think like we may have thrown some like again some private jokes.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how many times a week was that on.
I think it was on every day.
I had a feeling it was something like that because you could only get it in certain parts of the country because it was Channel 5. That's going into a soap opera. That must have been an increased amount of workload for you.
Yeah, it was. And I remember one day I'd forgot my scripts for the next day. And I thought it's fine, I'll just come in early and just like whatever. And so I came in the next day and I had like 4 different scenes and they were all like 8 or 9 pages worth of dialogue. And I was like, oh my, how am I going to do this? And I was like freaking out. I was there at like 6 in the morning. And I was like, we start shooting at like 7 something. So I remember doing the first scene and just like, and I got through it. They were like, cool, we're going to go again. And then I just like kept on forgetting the lines. And by the 15th time, I could see the other actor getting a bit like frustrated. And then, the director and stuff was like, come on, let's get it. And then I had my next scene with this, my love interest in the show. And she kept on forgetting her lines. And I remember being frustrated because she only had like 2 lines. Like I had all the bulk of the dialogue and all she had to say was, so what happened next? And she kept on forgetting it. I'm like, come on. I've got all this like dialogue that I don't know to get through. You know what I mean? You've got 1 line and you can't do it. But yeah.
Do you think the unique way that the Rejects filmed, do you think that helped you do that?
Oh, it most definitely helped just because like all of my dialogue in Rejects, well, the bulk of it was by myself and doing like this, the commentating. So it was always quite a bit of dialogue. So it definitely helped with my pickup when I got like new scripts for other things.
You've done loads of things since then. What have you done since since the Rejects and Family Affairs?
Since then, I'm trying to think when I left for America because I left. I did quite a bit of theatre before I left, and then I left at the end of 2011. Came out to America. But out here, I worked with J.J. Abrams on Cloverfield. I joined that universe, which was incredible. I did another film called Here just before Christmas. I did a show called SEAL Team out here, and then a show called Too Old to Die Young as well, which has been great. And then now I'm waiting to hear back from this job that I could potentially start at the end of the year, which would be incredible. But we're just waiting to find out the logistics.
Yeah. Do you find that over there, do they film things differently? I know the director on The Rejects was American, so some of that might have come through. But is it a different experience working over there?
Yes. I mean, yeah. Even with auditions, it's very different. Where in the UK, you go to an audition and like you have a chat before, and then like how's your family, and like do you have any questions, and then like you talk about it. And over in America, it's very like quick. All right, Roger, cool, go. You're like, oh, so it kind of threw me off when I first moved out here, just because it was so much quicker. But in terms of filming, it depends what you're doing. Like the TV stuff, yeah, it's quite got a pace to it. But with the film stuff, it's a lot slower. A lot slower. You do like a lot more takes, and then especially with J.J. Abrams, like he shoots in a specific way, and so he does a lot of takes and a lot of different angles and kind of thing. So yeah, it just depends on what you're doing.
I believe the Cloverfield, wasn't that a Netflix original?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Do you know what? The first one's still my favorite. I remember seeing it like years ago, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is incredible." So then when I got a chance to be a part of it, I was like, "Yep, sign me up."
I mean, that's some journey, isn't it? From Dancer on Top of the Pops to working with J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. But I've always wanted to live in America. It's always been on my radar. Like I was always grateful for the stuff that I did in London, but I always knew that there was more. And I guess I watched, like growing up, I watched a lot more American TV, and I was like, yeah, I feel like there's like a lot more opportunity out there. And so that's part of the reason why I came out here.
Is there anything you miss from being in Britain?
Oh, absolutely. So the other day, I got a box full of Mr. Kipling's cherry bakewells. I got Monster Munch, Twirls, Boosts, all the chocolate, all the crisps, and some orange Lucozade.
Yeah, because it's slightly different over there, isn't it? They make things differently.
It's just not as good. It's not as good out here, like the chocolate and stuff. And sometimes you can get Cadbury stuff out here, but I'm like, it doesn't taste the same. And then you get one from back home, you're like, yep, there it is. There it is. And so, yeah, I always get people to send me stuff, even deodorant, which is like bizarre. But, for a small can of deodorant out here, it's like $7. And then in London, you can get like a big one for like £1.50. And so I get people to send me deodorant all the time.
Well, there we are. But we've deviated slightly from the subject, but I'm sure the listener will forgive us for doing so. I find that fascinating when people move from the UK to America and the differences with that. Now, we just heard that you've gone from being on the Renford Rejects to working with J.J. Abrams on that Cloverfield film. And one question that I asked Bill and Tom, and I know that you've listened to the podcast so that you know basically what's coming here. You lived with the character for Vinnie for like 4 or 5 years. What do you think he'd be doing now?
What would he be doing right now? I think he'd still be doing what he was doing. I think he might have opened up a school, like a presenter school, to train people up in it. And then I think like he might have an agency as well. He might have like a broadcasting agency where he just like, has his clients on like different like football stadiums or like presenting like TV shows and different things there. But yeah, he'll definitely still be in it, loving it.
Yeah, I mean, when Tom said that you lived in LA, I instantly thought, isn't that basically Vinnie's life?
He did like to travel, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is fantastic, isn't it? That after all this time, we're still talking about that show. I'm sure that you didn't think when you were making it that we'd still be talking about it.
Yeah, we literally had no clue. We didn't know like how it was going to be received. And so the fact that, people are still into it now is like incredible. I was talking to Tom the other day because Tom had been writing some stuff, about his character and, the younger. And so, yeah, I think we're all going to try and get together and try and, maybe do some sort of show again, some sort of reunion or something. I think people would like that. Get the old team back.
He did mention something about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it'd be great, I mean, I know that everyone would be on board, but I haven't seen Adam Dean for many years. I was trying to find him the other day on Facebook, but I couldn't find him. I still, see Charlie, Tom, I still speak to. Martin, I still speak to. Matthew Leach was out here as well, who plays Stuart. He was living out here as well. I'm not sure if he's still out here, though. And I'm friends with Holly on Instagram. And Megan as well. And I haven't seen Lucy Punch for a while as well. She's sometimes out.
Isn't she out there somewhere?
I don't know that she lives out here, but she definitely works out here. So I feel like she comes in for work, then goes back to the UK.
Once again, it's an absolute joy to talk to you because I've been a Rejects fan, well, since the start. I remember when it premiered, and it was a show I was completely obsessed with. And the funny thing is, and the listener will know this because I've talked about it many times, from school I went into the media, basically. And I think the idea of the media was brought to my attention by Vinnie.
No way.
So, yeah, I think so. So this is an extremely surreal moment for me because it's almost like the seed.
Wow. That's incredible. It's
been absolutely fantastic to speak to you. And I do wish you all the best with your upcoming projects. And thank you very much for being on the podcast today.
No,
Roger.
Thank you. And I would love if maybe one time we could do like a Zoom with everybody and yourself.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Let's make it happen.